Okay, we'd like to call the session of the Richmond Exempted Village School District back into session at 6:00 p.m. So the first thing is, it is recommended the Board of Education approve the agenda as presented.
Also move. Second.
Okay. So, Tim did.
You can get Tim. Tim's good.
All right.
Well,
Roll call.
I'll wait for roll call.
Okay.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes, here.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mrs. Story?
Yes.
Mr. DePaul?
Yes.
Okay, first item is recognition and awards.
You know what it's time for? The best part of the agenda, right? Mr. Rhodes, we are looking forward to hearing the presentation of your wonderful students from Locust Corner Elementary.
Absolutely. Good evening. I am very excited. I've been waiting to do this presentation for about a month and a half. We're very excited this evening to have 3 students here from Locust Corner Elementary that really performed just in an outstanding way on their state tests this past year. Not only did these 3 students achieve in the advanced category, the top category on the test, but they also, in 1 or more tests, it actually achieved a perfect score on the test.
Wow.
Which, in recent memory, I can't remember that happening. It may have happened before in the past, but in the past few years, no. So I'm very excited for them to be recognized tonight. So please come forward when I call your name, and we have a certificate for you, and we'll be recognizing you. Well, I'm also, I would be remiss if I did not say thank you to some of the teachers that are here today that actually taught some of these students. So I'm very, very happy. All right, so first we have Henry Ricker. Stay right here with me. Henry scored, like I said, in the advanced category in English Language Arts last year on the 4th grade test. He's a 5th grader this year. And he scored a perfect 835 on the math test last year, which was just outstanding. So congratulations to Henry. All right, next up we have Charlie Grove, who is also a 5th grader. And Charlie also scored in the advanced category in English Language Arts, but he scored again. You know, it's the same score for both of them because they're both in the same grade. A perfect 835 on the math assessment. It's outstanding. And just for the record, I could not have gotten these scores.
Yeah,
Just saying that right now. All right. And last but certainly not least is our 4th grader, Emily Muse. Come on, Emily. And Emily scored a perfect 818 on the math assessment for the 3rd grade last year. She's a current 4th grader. But she also scored a perfect 863 on the English Language Arts assessment, which is absolutely mind-blowing. So she scored a perfect in both tests. So congratulations. Really outstanding, and it's great to be able to recognize, not only these students, but the teachers that helped them along the way, and the parents that did so much along the way to get these perfect scores. So thank you.
wonderful. It's a good thing Mr. Stewart from the high school is not here, the high school principal. He probably want to take you guys to join him. Yeah, not allowed.
They have to stay with me.
Well, would you 3 bless us and come forward and we'll take a picture with all of us together? Honor us. Oh. Great job.
Come on up here.
Right there, but don't just like your mother's story.
Oh, I don't want to crowd you. Okay. 3, 2.
Nice.
You want some high
Well done. Thank you, Mr. Rhodes. That was fantastic. That's a whole lot. That's a lot of smiles right there. That's a lot of smiles.
That's perfect.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Very nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys, appreciate it, good job.
You're welcome.
Okay, next item on the agenda is public participation. We have Ms. Karen Cahall to first person on the list for 3 minutes.
Hello. Well, the NRTO recently conducted a survey of its membership around the issue of arming teachers. Brad Hatfield will be emailing you the results, and we really implore you to look at what your teachers are telling you, especially read the comments section. We would really love to have the opportunity to have an extended conversation with you outside of the 3 minutes of public participation allowed at the board meeting to let you know of our concerns. I would really encourage you to have conversations with your teaching staff around this issue. We just came from an NRTO meeting, and your teachers are exhausted and overwhelmed, and now on top of all our regular duties and responsibilities, we are being asked to volunteer to be first responders in active shooter situations. 59% of your teachers that responded to this survey either strongly disagree or disagree with the statement that arming teachers will enhance student safety. 67% of your teaching staff that responded to the survey indicate they disagree or strongly disagree with the statement that they are comfortable with the idea of having armed staff around children. Please read the comment section of the survey to understand what your teachers' concerns are around this issue. Teacher concerns have increased since hearing the particulars of your new policies. Teachers deserve to have their voices heard on this weighty issue. There is no data that we have found suggesting that arming teachers makes schools safer. Indeed, more guns around children are associated with more firearm accidents. Please take the time to read the comments section of the survey so you can begin to understand how your teachers are feeling and what their concerns are. We would welcome an opportunity to have an open dialogue with you about this. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else for public participation? Public participation, that's the wrong word. I got it fast and test either. All right, next one on the agenda is committee reports.
The only committee report we have this month is for Grant. The last meeting was on the 21st of September. During that, we had a student presentation by Ariana Ventura. She was Skills USA national competition she participated in. She was 9th in the nation. So she was a junior also. So she's gearing up this year to go up and take number 1. So anyway, that was one of the items. The 2023 financial statement audit is being done by VHM, the CPA group, and that will be completed by the 31st of December. We had first read of several policies, just as we have here. Then the last thing I'll talk about is the Grant Give Back program. That was this past Friday. Had sponsors of Dualite, Duke Energy, Health Source of Ohio, Freeman Enclosures, Jurgensen, can't hardly read my writing, Uchimaki, Nestle, Purina, and Millicron. And that there was over 300 students from Grant participated across the 4 different areas that we represent. So they're really well received program. So it went well. Probably saw some of the results on Facebook, some of the pictures and stuff. So next meeting is this Thursday. That's it.
All right, next item on the agenda is superintendent's report.
Our kids here deserve wonderful experience, the best that we can provide. And I've been to, and you have as well, people know we've been to many concerts and plays where it's been challenging sometimes to hear the voices. And sometimes the lights isn't exactly what it should be to illuminate what's taking place on stage. So this was on the radar screen just before COVID hit, going on for almost 3 years ago now, to redo the sound system. So through supply chain problems, it took a long time, it was a couple of years. Last Wednesday was the first time that we had a chance to hear the new sound system with kids, and it was wonderful to be able to hear, and the kids to be able to be heard. We're working on the lighting. I just want to give a call out to a community member, Tom Dean, has been incredible helping us with the lighting system in our auditorium. It is already so much better than what it was before. And our head custodian at the high school, Josh Crawford, has been so instrumental helping out. That last Wednesday's concert, the Fall Leaves concert, to be able to see our kids up there, to hear what it was fantastic. So I just want to let our community know what's taking place there. The next item, it's a PowerPoint, but it'll be brief. I think it's important for our community and our board and the people here to see what is happening with the Ohio Department of Education. So when the new state budget was passed, they wrote into law that the Ohio Department of Education would cease to exist at midnight October 3rd. The Ohio Department of Education which is, I know, right? I know. How will we survive, right? And then the thinking was that Governor DeWine wanted to create a new cabinet level position called the Department of Education and Workforce, the DEW, referred to as the DEW. So at midnight October 3rd, the ODE was supposed to go away, and then at 12:01 a.m., then the new Department of Education and Workforce was supposed to go into effect. The thinking was this would become a cabinet level position, which would be more influenced by the role of the governor. It just no other way to paint it. That's the way it's going to be, as opposed to a state board of education, which was elected by the constituents and who hired the state superintendent. So there were 2 board members and a third family who thought that this is not constitutional. And if you look there, and I cut and pasted, that's why the font's a little different. Article 6 of the Ohio Constitution, there shall be a state board of education which shall be selected in such a manner and for such terms as she shall be provided by law. There shall be a superintendent of public instruction who shall be appointed by the state board of education. So it's in the Constitution. Those facts are a stubborn thing, right? And so these 2 board members and the third family taking part in this, so you just can't discard the Constitution. You can change the Constitution, you just can't just discard the Constitution. I think that's a fair point. Agree or disagree, it's a fair point of what we're talking about. So a temporary restraining order has been issued for Governor DeWine to not establish the Department of Education Workforce. Law passed midnight October 3rd. The Ohio Department of Education has been disbanded. So there's no Department of Education. There's no Department of Education and Workforce. And you know what happened throughout the whole state of Ohio on the morning of October 4th? We had school. Somehow, at Milford we figured it out, in Richmond we figured it out, we still had school. So I don't have a good feel for where this is headed. So I say this, board members and staff members, if you send an email to the Ohio Department of Education, I wouldn't expect a quick response. May take them a while to get back to you. But that's what's happening there, and we're just kind of at a stalemate right now. Want to update everybody on the voucher, which is one of my favorite things to talk about. So also in the new budget, the poverty level was increased to 450% of the federal poverty level for a family to qualify for a voucher to attend a private or charter school. And this is the cost of the first year, and each subsequent year, the cost of the voucher will continue to increase, which is, again, our taxpayer dollars. And I want to call attention to the last sentence that I have there. You see, the third one up is they say, here's what the voucher amounts are, 6,000 and 8,000. That's not really accurate, somewhat disingenuous. The real number is that last bullet point, that a K-8 voucher is now worth $7,500, and a 9 through 12 voucher is worth $9,800. And so what I challenged, we met as an administrative team last week sometime, is I challenged them, this would be the equivalent of if you take your checkbooks, and everybody knows, and again, I'm all choice, great. Parents do what is best for your kids. Got it. If you would take your checkbook, and if you know somebody who's their kid's going to a private charter school, write them a check if they're in high school for $9,800, because that's what's happening. I mean, this is tax money. It's our money, right? It's politicians don't create wealth; they spend wealth. They spend our money. So this is what is happening. And to no one's surprise, who thought for more than 2 seconds about this, the response has been overwhelming. If you read those bullet points I've got for you there, this is a few weeks old. So they've received 78,633 applications, which is a 223% increase. They're getting 1,000 applications a day. At that time, there was about 3 weeks left. So do the math of 1,000 applications a day times 3 weeks, how much more this is going to add on. It's not, why isn't it showing? Give me just a second, because this is too good to pass up. Well,
I have to take it out of presentation.
take that out of presentation mode and show zip, and then go back out, and then go here. Okay, so this article was in the Columbus Dispatch a couple weeks ago. It was by September 14th, so about a month ago, by the Associated Press. They really have no dog in this fight. They're just giving you facts, and it's going to take a few seconds. I'm going to read the first 2 paragraphs because I know it's going to be hard to see, and also for our viewing audience of the House. The cost of Ohio's new Universal School Voucher Program already appears to be more expensive than initially estimated. We're stunned, right? Stunned. According to a published report, that the costs will continue to grow as the application deadline is still more than a month away. An analysis by the Columbus Dispatch found the state has received applications totaling approximately $432 million, which is already $34 million that was forecasted by the Legislative Services Commission. Meanwhile, the State Department of Education says it's received between 900,000 applications a day. So with about a month ago, they are already $34 million over budget. Did I mention this is our money? Our budget. Wow. Okay. So with I'm not sure who's processing these applications now, because they're still coming in. But I don't have a final tally yet. I'm anxious to get the final tally of what this will look like. This impacts everybody in this room. It impacts everybody. And so we hear this clarion call for action. This will continue to happen. I want to give a special shout out to Representative Gail Manning, District 52. Republican, doesn't matter, just I put the next, that's part of her bio. She's leading the charge to create legislation in the House to bring accountability to our charter schools and our private schools, that they're held the same standards that we are. That's all public schools ask, is let's hold us to the same accountability. So I credit her. It's good to have a representative representing us it would have to go to the Senate. The Senate, they probably won't pass it in the Senate because of the leadership that's there. But at least she's trying. She's making a stand, and I respect people who make a stand. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns?
Is my understanding correct that the tracking of these applications, they opted to not indicate whether this was a new child being enrolled versus a child currently enrolled? Is that accurate?
Also my understanding.
Would have been interesting to have that data.
Okay. And then just a couple things about property tax, Mr. Pritchard.
There's a big update going on in Claremont County. Every 6 years, there's a reappraisal. So every 3 years, there's either a reappraisal or update. Every 3 years later, there's an appraisal. And property values, from what we're hearing, are going to increase pretty substantially. They are in other counties in the state. So Claremont County won't be alone there. New Richmond, because of House Bill 920, there's a law that's been in place since the 70s that doesn't allow you to collect more revenue off property values than when the levy was originally passed. It pushes the millage down, which is the tax rate, down on the property values, and pushes it down to match whatever that levy amount was when it first passed. So we won't see a big increase in revenue off these property value increases across our district. That's something really important for everybody to know, that that's just not something most districts will see. There are some districts that don't have a whole lot of levies out there, and they're at the state minimum. They can collect just 20 mils, which is a percentage, and at the 20 mil they collect being at the floor, which is the bare minimum you can be. Those districts will see the increase of whatever the county determines their reappraisal values are for their properties. They're going to see these big increases. They're going to get big increases in revenue. Richmond is not. Richmond's right around 26%. So we won't see those increases. With all that being said, you can see there's a lot of counties that are at that floor. So Columbus is looking to try to come up with some ways to lessen the burden for taxpayers. Maybe school districts across the state have to endure those types of increases. Again, New Richmond's not one of those. So I think that's the general gist of all that. There's another slide that's really out. And there's just some ideas and some bills that they have out there that they'd like to do to try to, again, limit that financial burden that a lot of property owners are going to have with these enormous increases, because they are substantially. That's really House Bill 920 in a nutshell, and what it does for a district like New Richmond. It prevents us from increasing or collecting more revenue. And this is one of the main reasons in Ohio why school districts have to go back to the community and the voters and the taxpayers about every 5 years to ask for new levy, because we don't see the increases in the inflation with the property values. We don't collect more revenue. Everything else increases. Our cost of doing business, so to speak, increases, and the revenue stays flat. We're going to see that again. Pretty much.
Anything else?
No, that's the superintendent report.
I will follow up to the Thursday. We're going to be meeting as a county treasurer's team with the county auditor's office, and they're going to present to all of us, and I'll get a little bit more concrete about what the Richmond should expect as far as revenue, any type of increase in collection. There is not a two-foot part of the very something called inside millage that every school district has, and that's not subject to that House Bill 920, so we'll see a little bit of an increase, but it's just a small amount. It's only about 3 mils, and it just means we'll see a big jump in there. The only other thing I'd like to mention too is that House Bill 920 doesn't apply to new construction. So for one time, when there's a new house built or new subdivision built, we will collect whatever those increases are for one time. There's only one lifetime thing after that. They get lumped back in with everybody else, and those millage rates get pushed down. We'll see a little bit of an increase on our new construction. Again, now that's going to stay the same.
What about the new $4 million levy then?
And we can answer your questions at the end.
Oh, I thought they asked.
Yeah, thank you. All right, okay. All right, next item on the agenda is second reading and adoption of policy.
Yeah, into a deep dive at our last board meeting, we'll do that this time. Policies are here for our community and for our staff members present. I do give there's overviews presented. I try to clump the policies together by category. There's a tobacco overview, a technology overview that people can do again. And you can see the red strikeouts and the greens and the language. But presented for approval as written. Mr. Zimmerman.
Okay. Upon second reading, it is recommended the Board of Education adopt the following policies.
Also moved.
Mr. Wood, second. Second, Mr. Weller. Discussion on any of the policies. Okay. Roll call.
All right, Mr. Wells,
Yes.
Mr. Wood,
Yes.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Mrs. Story,
Yes.
and Mr. Zimmerman.
Yes.
The consent items for the human resources. We've had a couple of resignations, employee termination, hiring some classified employees, also some substitute classified employees. For winter supplementals, just want to pause here just for a few seconds. Everything in red is what is new. And just want to point out at the recommendation of the supplemental salary committee who studied this, there's a lot to process and think about and consider. We are going to add a couple positions. One is an assistant coach for high school wrestling. And again, that was because of that committee's recommendation. And also for spring supplementals, I'll open that up. You'll see the same thing there, an assistant coach for high school boys and girls track, and also an assistant coach for middle school girls, boys, and track and field. And those are the consent items for personnel.
It is recommended the Board of Education approve items 9A through 9F.
So moved.
I'll second.
Ms. Story, second. Any discussion? Okay. Roll call.
All right, Mr. Zimmerman,
Yes.
Mr. Wood,
Yes.
Mr. Wells,
Yes.
Mrs. Story,
Yes.
and Mr. Hall.
Yes.
And just one more human resource item. I put it as a separate call out only because it is a little different. We're implementing sources of strength at our buildings for our kids, for support for our kids. The secondary sources of strength advisors spend some time after school working with kids. We thought it'd be fair to try to compensate them. So I'm asking for $1,200 for the middle school stipends, $1,200 for the high school stipends total. And the specific names we brought forward, I'm anticipating in November, so you know how that's broken down.
It is recommended the Board of Education approve a stipend in the amount of $1,200 for each of the sources of strength buildings listed below for the Richmond Middle School and the Richmond High School. Can I get a motion?
So moved. A second.
Mr. Wood, second. Any discussion?
So, Mr. Miller, the money for this allocated from where again?
Thank you so much. So it will come out of the building budgets, so it won't impact the general fund.
Okay.
And both principals are on board with this. This is going to be really good for our kids.
Great. Thank you.
Good question. Thank you.
Any other discussion or questions? All right, roll call.
All right, Mrs. Story,
Yes.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Mr. Wood,
Yes.
Mr. Wells,
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman.
Yes. Okay. Item 10.
So last March, the board already passed the policy which codified this. New law went into effect October 3rd, that school systems have a total of 3 days to use for blizzard bag, remote learning, whatever, bus driver shortages, sickness, whatever the case, but you have 3. And the rest days are just, you go past your time, you have to make it up. The new law says that the board has to approve it annually. I think this law will probably change, but we'll play along for now. The board has to approve this annually. It says the NRT, the teacher's president has to sign off on it. And we didn't have to do an MOU, it makes it clear for future instruction, for future guidance. So it's an MOU which states that the board's approving 3 days total for the 23-24 school year in case we have to close the pool.
All right, it is recommended the Board of Education approve the online learning memorandum of understanding as presented.
Also moved.
Mr. Dufault,
Second.
Story with the second. Any discussion?
Trace, is this really 3 days or is this like equivalent to hours then?
Yeah, so it's equivalent, the hours have to equivalent to the days. So if you give blizzard bag material, it's got to give the kids some hours of work. If you do a synchronous, asynchronous approach, it's roughly equivalent.
Okay. All right, roll call.
All right, Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mr. Dufault?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Mrs. Story?
Yes.
All right. Item 11, Treasury Report and Action Items.
Thank you, Mr. Zimmerman. Item A and B are for meeting minutes as well. Item C is the financial reports. The extent I'd like to highlight tonight, so that is just the reduction in federal dollars that we didn't receive this year. We had last year about $1.5 million, which were money we were able to spend last year on personnel we can't spend this year. So we're seeing that come out of our budget now this year. So we're going to see $1.5 million increase in our general fund. So those federal dollars are no longer in place. That's something really to highlight and mention. Donations is big. We have really good donations this month. We always appreciate our donations and our donors. But Monroe Elementary with the Beth Webster events they put on out there, tremendous amount, almost $5,000 total in donations from those two events. So that's tremendous. We'll put those in scholarships and continue to honor her memory that way. We have one confirming purchase order. This is for some professional development. Came in on one of our curriculum adoptions. Nothing really too substantial there. And then item F is the approval of the appropriations. We have a capital project through Energy Optimizers. We financed that project, and the money's been handed over to us, and we appropriated that into our fund. So there's a substantial increase in that compared to last month that we appropriated. So we can start spending that money and get that project going.
We have a kickoff meeting scheduled for next week, so
we can start invoicing us after the night. Start doing that in phases. That's all I have.
It is recommended the Board of Education approve items 11A through 11F. So moved.
I'll second.
Did you get that? Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
All right. Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mrs. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mr. Dufault?
Yes.
Academic report.
Good evening. I'm going to try to get through this without coughing, so if I do, just give me a second, I'll recover. I have just a couple of academic updates for you. First, as I've mentioned before, we're in our third year of revisions. 2 years ago, we revised our ELA curriculum, and last year we revised our math curriculum. This year, we'll be working on our science curriculum revision, as well as physical education and health. So we have a lot to get done this year. This week, on Wednesday, we have our first science meeting with our elementary teachers. The committee will be analyzing our standards, our current practices, and our curricular needs. And I'll keep you updated as we move forward during this year with all three of those revisions. Second, we're preparing for our full PD day on this coming Friday. Professional development is critical to the achievement of our students, and we value this time on Friday. Our teachers will have sessions on lots of different topics depending on the grade level, but they include technology resources, student engagement strategies, reading intervention training, research about assessment and feedback, and coordination between our Tier 1 teachers and our special education interventionists. All teachers also have a block of allocated time for personalized learning where they'll choose a topic that applies to their practice. Third, last week at the board work session, the administrators had the opportunity to report on their progress from last year's goals, share their report card data for each building, and to review their 4 goals for the 23-24 school year. Every principal has a goal for, they have 4 goals: a climate goal to implement sources of strength in their building, an instructional leadership goal to visit every teacher's class at least 3 times a week to keep updated about the instructional programs and the instruction going on in classrooms, an academic and student achievement goal specific to the needs of their building, and an individual professional goal. So they worked very hard on these, and we will see, I'm sure, academic improvements based on all 4 of those goals. Any questions?
Thank you. Glad you made it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, communications report.
So throughout the school year, we've been working to implement the badges and all of the things that can go with them, including the swiping for lunches and tapping on the bus. All of that ties into the new Placements platform. And what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to, with Tracy's help, walk you through how to buy tickets, because we are going to be starting online ticketing for some events in the very near future. Some events. So in order to get to it from the homepage, it's not all that hard, actually. Under the student parent tab, the second one from the right, there is toward the bottom of that little drop down a list that says, okay, it's not showing up. So it might be, maybe it's on the top.
Sorry.
If that one doesn't show up, it's probably under how do I. You're okay. No, because it goes from N to P, so it's not showing up. I'll have to fix that later. But it is under how do I.
Under who?
At the top right corner.
On top right, under Tracy, very top right of the page. There you go.
There it is. Order event tickets online. Third one from the bottom. Oops.
There we go.
So that'll bring you to this page. And this page is the Pay Schools event page for the entire district. Everything athletically and everything fine arts, all of the ticket sales posts that will be here will be on this page when we're ready to put more than just this one up here. So if you click on the New Richmond Fall Play Puffs, it takes you here. And this page has been meticulously updated by a bunch of people that I'm going to thank here for their hard work on this. John Fry has been on this from the very beginning. Kelly Merritt's been working to get the information in there. And then Melissa Drescher is with Pay Schools, and she's been helping us behind the scenes with technical stuff when, for instance, we couldn't figure out how to get the header photo to update. That one wouldn't work. She was a great contact for us and really got that one in there for us in a week. It just wasn't working for me. So if you get to this point, you can see how the tickets are cost. You can purchase tickets for either night. I believe last I checked, we were around 30 sold so far for the concert, or for the performance. You can click on either one of those. I personally am going to the Saturday night show.
Okay. So I clicked on Saturday, so
You can check out, for us personally, you probably should just check out as a guest.
Yeah, check out.
Yeah.
there you go.
You just pick the tickets that you want to buy. You check the little box down there, because that is the long rights forms that you would have to give. And then after this, you would just give them your address, your credit card information, you'd be off to go. On the previous page, there's another thing you can do.
You want to put your credit card information in here?
Not during public session.
All right. Just say.
Oh, back one more. Sorry.
Sorry.
The sponsorship at the bottom of the page. That is another thing that the Pay Schools will allow you to do. It's in the red box at the top. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Thanks.
Okay, well, that is a problem. So I was afraid of that. When we get that page up, it will allow you to do exactly what it says. It's a sponsorship page that allows you to just donate money straight toward the fine arts program there. Right now, I believe it is set to just be viewed by people who are logged in.
Yeah, that's probably
So we'll fix that. But other than that, it's incredibly simple, it's incredibly easy, and it would really streamline this process forward once we get little bumps and kinks that we're still working through here.
Bumps, that's okay. We'll get there.
Or just a quick question, can I ask a question? So I know a lot of the events we do, like when we get a Wilmington ticket, we pay like a processing fee. Are we absorbing the processing fee, do you know?
No, not anymore. There is an option in there that has been checked, and the fee will be paid for by the people who buy the ticket.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
Convenience fee.
It's a real fee, but it's just.
Yeah, I get it right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
All right, adjournment. Any motion to adjourn?
Second.
Mr. Wheaton. Roll call. All right. Mr. Fall.
Yes.
Mrs. Story.
Yes.
Mr. Wells.
Yes.
Mr. Roden.
Yes.
Mr. Zerford. Yes.
Thanks, everybody.